Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed absolutely impossible, a giant blocking your path? Well, today we're diving into one of the most epic underdog stories of all time, the tale of David and Goliath. It's a story that has inspired people for thousands of years, and it's about much more than just a boy with a slingshot. Our story begins with the armies of Israel and the Philistines facing each other across a valley. For 40 days, a terrifying Philistine champion named Goliath would march out and challenge the Israelites to send a champion of their own to fight him in single combat, but no one dared, and why would they? Goliath was a giant, over 9 feet tall. He was covered head to toe in heavy bronze armor, carrying a spear with a tip that weighed more than a bowling ball. He was the ultimate warrior, a one-man army. Every morning and every evening he would mock the Israelites, and fear paralyzed their entire camp. The soldiers, including their king, Saul, were terrified. They saw an unbeatable enemy, a guaranteed defeat. Now enter David. David wasn't a soldier. He was the youngest son of Jesse, a shepherd boy from Bethlehem. His older brothers were in the army, and his father sent him to the battlefront simply to bring them some food and check on how they were doing. When David arrived, he heard Goliath's taunts and saw the fear in the eyes of the Israelite soldiers. But David saw something different. While everyone else saw an unstoppable giant, David saw an opportunity. He was shocked that no one was standing up to this man who was defying their entire nation and their faith. He couldn't understand why everyone was so afraid. He asked the soldiers, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" David's own brothers were angry with him. They accused him of being arrogant and just coming to watch the battle. But David wasn't deterred. His confident words eventually reached King Saul. Saul, desperate, summoned the young shepherd. David told the king, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul was skeptical, to say the least. "You're only a boy," he said, "and he's been a warrior from his youth." But David had a response that wasn't about military training. He shared his experience as a shepherd. He told Saul how he had protected his father's sheep from lions and bears, fighting them off with his bare hands. He explained that the same God who delivered him from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear would deliver him from the hand of this Philistine. David's faith was his resume. His courage came from his past experiences where he had seen protection and victory. Saul was convinced, or perhaps just out of options. He offered David his own royal armor, a heavy bronze helmet, and a coat of mail. David tried them on, but they were too big and clunky. He had never used armor like this before. He took it off, saying, "I cannot go in these because I am not used to them." Instead, David went back to what he knew. He picked up his shepherd's staff, went down to the stream, and chose 5 smooth stones. He put them in his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, he walked out to face the giant. When Goliath saw David, he was insulted, a boy with a stick. He laughed and cursed David. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" Goliath boomed, "Come here and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." But David's reply is one of the most powerful moments in the story. He shouted back, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." David wasn't relying on his own strength. He was framing the battle not as David versus Goliath, but as God versus Goliath. He then ran quickly toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. Reaching into his bag, he took out a stone, put it in his sling, and hurled it at Goliath. The stone flew through the air and struck the giant right on the forehead. It sank into his skull, and the mighty Goliath fell face down on the ground. David had defeated the unbeatable giant with a single stone. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fall, turned and fled in terror. It was a stunning, decisive victory, all thanks to a young shepherd boy who had the courage to face his giant. So what's the real takeaway here? This story teaches us that the size of our giants doesn't matter as much as the size of our faith and courage. It's about using the tools you have, not the ones you think you need. David didn't try to be a soldier in heavy armor. He was a shepherd with a sling. He used his unique skills and trusted in his experience. When you face your own Goliaths, whether it's a huge project, a difficult conversation, or a personal struggle, remember David. Look at the problem from a different perspective, focus on your strengths, use the tools you've already mastered, and have the courage to take that first step. Sometimes the biggest victories come from the most unlikely heroes. Thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed this story and want more content that inspires and motivates, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next video.